Welcome back to Learn with a Jewelry Specialist. I am Emily Hu, be your jewelry specialist today. Today we're going to be going over the 4Cs. The 4Cs consist of the carat weight, the cut, the color, and the clarity of your diamond. So we'll just kind of go through the website and really narrow down what's important to you, what you should be looking for, and what will kind of change the differences between the diamonds depending on the characteristics that you are interested in and what you're liking. I also just want to take a look at some solitaire settings. Solitaires is going to be really focusing on that center stone. So we'll take a look at those, take a look at some on our website and really help narrow that down. I just wanted to kind of go over a little bit of Brilliant Earth and our mission. Something that's very important to us is really to focus on making sure that we're responsibly sourcing our diamonds, gemstones, metals, and giving back to communities. So for the diamonds, we do, of course, make sure that we only work with specific mines, making sure that there are no children working in the mines, that the miners are being paid fair wages, that they're in safe working environments, and that they're taking the most environmentally friendly way to mine for those diamonds. Along with that, we do offer the lab-created stones and diamonds. Of course, there's no new mining that takes place within the creations of those gemstones themselves. For our metals, they're 100% recycled metals. So there's no new mining that takes place within the creations of the actual bands and settings themselves. For giving back, we do give 5% of our profits back to communities that have been negatively impacted with the mining industry. Definitely something you can feel better about there with your overall purchase. All right, you guys, so let's get started. We're gonna focus on the settings first. So just to take a look at the settings that we're looking at today, this one here is the Elodie, again, really focusing more on the solitaires. This is the Reverie. And these two right here are both the exact same setting. This is the Petite Shared Prong. So sometimes when it comes to solitaires, people get a little confused and they just think that, of course, it's that main center stone, but there's no diamonds on the band. It's truly just a plain metal band. That is actually not the case. I do want to look at, again, a very classic solitaire, but also show some other settings that are very similar in the fact that they're still solitaires, but they do have a little bit of different design, whether it's a nice pave band or like twisting or like a split shank, which again, we'll get into that. So if you guys can see that well, that is the Elodie ring. If you guys can see this side there, hopefully it'll help kind of showing the background with my shirt. But again, just really focusing on that main center stone. But again, this one here just has a very classic metal band. This is in our 14 karat rose gold. We do offer 14 karat rose gold, 18 karat yellow golds, 18 karat white golds, as well as platinum. So all the three other that we're going to be looking at, those are all going to be the 18 karat white gold. So I want to take a look at also the Reverie. So here's just an example of kind of a different solitaire. It might be a little hard to see. I'm going to go to our website as well and show you guys that just to see a little bit of a closer image. But just so you guys can see that, again, really focusing on that center stone, you have that little bit of a split shank there. If you can see that, try to go up a little bit closer. You guys can all see that. So really classic, but just adds a little bit of a unique touch, not something you see every day. And it really will depend, which is great being able to create your own with Brilliant Earth. All of our create your own pieces. Again, you can pick the metal type, you pick the exact diamond or different gemstone, and it makes it unique just depending on all the characteristics, or different shapes that you decide to go with for that center stone. So here's an example of, a solitaire with a different kind of carat weight, and I do have those two examples. So this one here is the Petite Shared Prong. Again, just a really classic solitaire with a nice pave band. And this is about a 0.3 carat round. But again, I want to show you the same setting with the example of about a 1 carat. Really just changes that overall look. And what I'll do is just take off that 0.3 carat to kind of show you that one. And again, this is about the 1 carat. So again, just a very classic solitaire, which you can still have when you have the paved diamonds on the band. Solitaire, again, just meaning that There's no halos, no three stones. You really are just focusing on that one single stone in the center. So I'm gonna just share my screen with you guys so that we can take a look at the actual kind of like closer up images and on the models. So the first one is the Reverie. Again, it's that split shank. You guys can see it a little bit closer there. And then on this model, very classic solitaire. Again, just adds a little bit with that split shank. And the split shank just meaning that the two kind of bands right here, and I'll show you right here, where they kind of separate. Just adds a little bit of a unique kind of flair to the ring. And the Elodie, which is what we looked at, that one there was in the 14 karat rose gold that I showed you all. This one here is, of course, in the 18 karat white gold. As you can see here, you can adjust what the metal type is that you're hoping for. There's that. Again, just a very, very classic solitaire, delicate band, metal, and then just really focusing on that center stone. And then the final setting that we looked at today is that Petite Chair Prom. Again, just a very classic look. You're still focusing on that center stone, but adding a little bit more sparkle when it comes to that pave band. Just another one too. Now I want to go over again, just really kind of when it comes to shopping for a diamond. This is where the 4 C's, come into play. There's a lot of research that you can do on the website, that you can do on the internet, but I just want to make it as easy for you all as possible. I know there's a lot of information out there. And I wanted to come across as easy as possible. I don't want this to be stressful. This is such an exciting time that I really just hope to make this as easy as possible. So the carat is going to be the actual weight of the diamond. Just to kind of show here, this is a size 6 hand. But again, I just kind of gives you a good idea of what how that carat weight changes. And again, even though it is the weight of the diamond, it usually does correlate most to the actual size of it. So that is a great place to start. And the carat weight might come down to the price that you're really focusing on wanting to stay within, which no matter what you are looking for, we can definitely stay within that price. And you can kind of see right here if you just want to bring that price to the kind of like the highest that you want to spend with on your diamond, and then really see all the characteristics that you can kind of fluctuate. So again, that's going to be the carat. Now the color, this is something pretty important, but it really is, I would just say, personal preference. Color of the diamond is going to be kind of any hues, or whether or not it's going to be near colorless or colorless. So near colorless is going to be this J, I, H, and G range. As you can see, the lower on the color scale that we're at, you're going to see a little bit more of yellows and golds hues within that diamond. So J and I usually are going to be the warmest of the diamonds. So if you like a little bit more warmth, that's where you're going to kind of want to stay within there. For that will also depend on kind of the metal type that you go with. If you're looking for a white metal, sometimes people like to go a little bit more on that colorless scale. Whereas if you're going with a warmer metal, sometimes you can have a little bit more of that flexibility, since it will, and especially depending on if the prongs are warmer as well. Some people like having that warmer diamond with the warmer center stone. So again, just personal preference there. Now this H and G is what they call the jeweler's sweet spot. So kind of as close to colorless without paying for the premium of colorless. So if you really do want that more colorless diamond, but staying at like an F, E, and D is going a little bit out of your price point for the other characteristics you want to stay within, H and G, really great place to stay within. And something to remember, if you can see, that all of our accent stones, again, I don't know if this is coming up, I'm sure it's pretty small right now, but all of our accent stones are going to be that more G and F range. So if you want to match, if you do go with anything with accent stones, 3 stones, halo, F and G are a good place to kind of stay within there. Now, colorless diamond is going to be that F, E, and D range. really that icy white diamond. So let's talk about cut. Now, cut, I like to say, is the most important. So talking about least and most important, we're actually getting to those. The cut is going to be the sparkle of the diamond. So how the diamond reflects and refracts light. Usually people really want to make sure that they are getting that super sparkly diamond, no matter the carat weight, the color, they just want to maximize on that sparkle. This is going to be the cut. So we usually recommend to stay within that very good to ideal and super ideal range, again, just to maximize on that sparkle. Whereas you can see here, the fair and good cut, it's just not allowing a lot of light to reflect through. So really to maximize on that sparkle, I really recommend to stay at that very good and above. Now that also depends a lot on the shape that you go with. So when it comes to the cut rounds, I probably would, go up a little to like that ideal and super ideal range, just due to the round shape, they're able to maximize more on that sparkle. Where it comes to fancy shapes, and fancy shapes are going to be anything other than round. So there's round, and then there's fancy shapes, which are all the other shapes. It's a little bit more rare for fancy shapes to be in that like super ideal range. You'll probably see, or more likely to see, more in that very good ideal range, which is great. Still very beautiful. I showed you all last time that my diamond is a pear shape, and it's a very good cut. Very sparkly. I love it. So that again is definitely something I would recommend focusing on, and really great because it doesn't change the price all that much. If you're looking at diamonds and you see one that's, whether it's $50, $100 more just for the cut, that's probably one where I would say go up a little bit just to maximize the most on that sparkle. Now, clarity also answers that question of most and least important. Personally, I like to say that the clarity is the least important. Again, we'll get in a little bit more as to why I feel that way, but the clarity is going to be any internal characteristics within the diamond. So when we bring that scale down, we can see how it's more heavily included. Now, a lot of Si2s, not all Si2s, but a lot of Si2s do come back or are not eye clean, which is usually what customers are most concerned about. Eye clean, meaning that you can see those internal characteristics, looking at it with the naked eye, not under a high magnification. A lot of our videos online are going to be at a 20 or 30 times magnification. So even at a higher clarity, you can still see some really small inclusions. Don't worry about that. Especially if you're at a VS2 and above. I've been here for quite a while, and I've never actually had a VS2 come back not eye clean. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but most of the VS2s on our site are going to be eye clean, so you don't have to worry about that. A lot of Si1s are also eye clean, so it's a really great place, again, to stay in and really, focus more on the carat weight or the color. If you want to go larger, you want to go more that icy white diamond, put your money there instead of going so high up in clarity. This is personal preference. Of course, some people just feel really comfortable and want to have that like flawless, eternally flawless VVS1 diamond. This is going to be very, very slightly included. That's at VVS1. IF is internally flawless, and flawless, or FL, is flawless. Something to remember about the flawless and eternally flawless diamonds is that those are museum quality. You spend so much on something that's optically not different when you're looking at it, just when it's either going to be set in a setting or if you're looking at loose diamonds. When I am in an appointment and we're looking at a group of loose diamonds, again, I just let my customers know that you don't have to spend so much on the clarity. Again, that's just personal preference. If you really want that sweet spot, I recommend starting at that Si1 and above, or that VS2 and above. So again, clarity, I kind of like to say, is the least important. And then for the cuts, I would say is the most important. So I had a question here because I did just want to say, if you are looking at either of those three shapes, I would focus on the dimensions. Sometimes you can see, it's a 1.2 and a 1.23, and the 1.2 is more expensive, and all the other characteristics are the same. That gets a little confusing. Something you want to focus on then, especially when it comes to those three shapes, again, the cushion, Asher, and emerald, look at the dimensions. If you're seeing that the 1.2 actually has the dimensions are larger on the table, definitely I would recommend going with that one if carat weight is something that's important to you. But that's where you'll see a little bit of that price difference there. Now, I did want to let you know too, going back kind of to the settings, is that we do offer a virtual try-on, which is a really great experience. The virtual try-on only works on a cell phone. So you can go to our Brilliant site. It's not an app or anything. It's just go to our website, create a ring or select a setting. And then underneath that, there'll be in green, virtually try on or virtual try on. Just select that. And then I think you just take a picture of your hand and then it'll kind of show the ring on there, which is great. So that is for engagement rings. But great news is that we actually are now able to do that with wedding bands too. So you can see a full set together, which is really nice. I know people kind of struggle with that when they are looking for the wedding band to match with their engagement ring. So really great options there. We are also currently holding virtual appointments. Virtual appointments are really great. You'll go over basically everything I kind of went over today, but it's a one-on-one experience. You work with just a sales representative, and either you, your partner, friends, whoever you're with at this time, you're able to join that, and it is also going to be a Zoom meeting. You'll go over the settings first, and then the different gemstones. So if you're looking at diamonds, again, they'll just kind of go over those 4 C's and really narrow down what's important to you, staying within that price point. We don't work on commission, so we just want to help find the perfect ring for you within that price point. You don't need to spend more just to get everything you're looking for. Again, that's what we're here to help with, and focus on characteristics that actually will really be important to you, and that you'll really see a difference kind of side by side and when you have your completed ring. So those are really great options. We do, of course, you can always reach us on our 1-800 number, and that phone number will be on our website, along with our email address if you want to email any questions in that you may have, or have us help you set up a virtual appointment. We can always do that. We also do have a chat system, just kind of some quick questions. If you have those, we can definitely help there. More in-depth questions, I would probably recommend just hopping on the phone, just so it's a little easier for us to relay the answer to you. Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining me this week, and I will hopefully see you all soon. Have a great rest of your day and stay safe and healthy. Bye, guys.